And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Turn on the tube, what do I see? A whole lot of people crying, don't blame me. They point the crooked little fingers at everybody else. Spend all the time feeling sorry for themselves. Victim of this, victim of that. Your mama's too thin and your daddy too fat. Get over it. Get over it. All this running and crying, bitching and fit. Get over it.
Yeah, get over it here on Declare Your Independence of me, Ernest Hancock. Oh, yeah, I got put on my glasses. You don't get to see my nasty Resident Evil eye for the government. You know, this is what we're talking about. Thomas Ferguson and I have had this conversation before on various issues that come up. And it's, you know, there in his mind, there's a proper role for government. And there are programs that have been perceived as being successful and better our lives and so on, and he names a few. And I want to ask you one thing. I mean, in the 90s, as a libertarian candidate for Congress and so on, you know, of course, we would, you know, bring these things up. And Social Security is, you know, a safety net, a retirement program. I'm not sure how government got involved in that and why that should happen, but you know, we look at it, and it was in the almost probably like 2004 or 5, around in there, that they changed the cost of living adjustment standards. Because you have Social Security going, look, it doesn't keep up with inflation. You'll have, I retire, and I go, yeah, I get a check, but I buy a loaf of bread with it. You know, we got to have, you know, the return I get on this has got to increase because they keep increasing the money supply and economic, you know, because you turn all these dials, they seem to think that one doesn't affect the other, and they do. And then the proper old gut, just get out of the way, and all these things take care of themselves, in my opinion. But what they did is they said, you know what? No longer is energy or housing and food and all this other stuff is going to be determined as part of the cost of living increase index. So when they took that out, as long as you don't eat or use energy or go anywhere, well, then your Social Security check's fine. So now with that, how do you repair that, Thomas? I mean, who do you blame?
Look, the issue here...
the issue is people getting money they can live on. That's what they were promised.
I do not... No, in my opinion, what Social Security should do is they ought to do a cost of living index for older retired folks. They have, you know, which on most people think tend to show a somewhat higher rise in the cost of living, not least because of the medical care inflation there. And I'd be perfectly willing to look at that. That's what they ought to do. I have the impression, I haven't looked at the details of that 2004-05. I believe that was an adjustment that tended to lower the amount paid, and it was part of a Bush administration initiative to do just that.
Yeah, Obama fixed it, did he?
Obama has. I am very suspicious of the Obama administration on Social Security. You can't find anything I've said or written that indicates that I have much confidence in there.
See, Thomas, my point is that it's not that I think it should be fixed or even can be fixed. I'm for government not getting involved in that stuff to begin with because they can't do it. It is not possible to micro-engineer a society. It doesn't ever work.
I have to tell you, I think that's, if you just look at Social Security, which is
that's my perfect example.
But now, come on now, Ernest, you got to give me a minute here. Especially, remember, you're sick, Ernie. You know, you got to give me a chance to help you out here.
You're giving me energy, man.
The case, look, Social Security, it costs very little. In its administrative costs. It is very good at handing out checks, and it's something like a quarter or so of the population, 27% of it's only support, and it's a substantial share of the income of something like, my memory on this is about 40% of the population. It's a lot of folks depend on Social Security, and I did appreciate, you know, some of the wonderful quotes that came out of some newspapers when people. There was one Tea Party person, at least they claim, you know, we will not settle up with by a membership card, who said, you know, keep your hands off my Social Security check. You know, well, hey, that's government in action. I mean, it's not true that government can't do something helpful. What you got to do, however, is get, frankly, big money out of politics, and so that ordinary people can have a voice. If you don't do that, then you're absolutely right. Everything will turn to ashes. Now,
okay, let me go ahead and get on that point. I wanted to get that before the end of the show.
Yep.
Is the the ruling that came out that private entities incorporated in such a way that they can spend unlimited amounts on certain issues or whatever.
United, that case.
Okay, now the thing is that the problem they're going, look, they gave individual rights to corporations and they can't be limited, free speech and all that. And I'm going, but what about the individual? I gave the corporation individual rights; they can spend whatever money, but I can't.
Well, actually, you can spend. You can't donate to it. You've got
to an individual candidate.
But you're independent. Your right to an independent expenditure is unlimited too. That's your.
But I can't give it. I can't give it to an individual candidate.
That's right.
See, it's just more dials, Thomas. More dials. Get rid of the dials.
Okay, now, Ernie, you got to give me a chance here.
All right, go.
Look, the case for this is very straightforward, and you know what it is. That elections are very costly. Now, either we all pay some of that small amount, or the folks who pay will control. Given the way the world is, guess who's going to pay, and guess who's going to control.
Take away the power. If you got power, money goes to the power. Eliminate the power, the money doesn't matter.
Is that money is power, and if you allow it to determine your state policy, you'll be sorry. That seems to me, and I only need one panacea, and frankly, mine is public financing of elections. I mean, you get these guys so that they can't dominate the system behind the backs of everybody else.
All the more reason not to have elections. Yay!
No. We need elections, and we need them honestly run, clean elections.
I'm waiting for them to stop using the computers. I mean, you talk about Chicago. Are you kidding me? This is the root of the problem is that the people are not. If you're going to have a democratic constitutional republic, you have to have the republic part that's bound down by the chains of the Constitution part, and the republic is elected by the democratic part. None of those pieces are working. The republic is not bound by the Constitution. The people are not accurately being represented in the elections, I believe, in picking the republic. You have no limits on the power that they're taking from the individual, what the government was supposed to be there to protect. So this system is irreparably broken.
Yeah, now we will hope not irreparably, but it's certainly...
Well, give me the fix.
It's pretty broken.
Give me the fix.
Well, take money out of politics, and you are very close to a fix. That seems to me to be the right move. Could we just circle back, though, to the question about...
You got about a minute. Go. I'll let you finish up. Go.
Yeah, I think the bottom line here is pretty troubling, not least because if you look even at... say the WikiLeaks stuff on U.S. foreign policy, our guys spend a lot of time just trying to help corporations abroad. But the very same folks don't want to even pay corporate taxes. That movement is clearly coming, and coming from the Obama administration to reduce it. This is a little weird when you've got profits actually near their highest point in American history and high unemployment in the rest of the U.S.
Because they can. Thanks, Thomas.
Okay,
this is Ernest
good luck,
Hancock. Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.